Did you know that you don't have to avoid your favorite foods to get over binge eating? Yes, it's true. Many of us have strong beliefs about binge eating that are actually myths. And unfortunately, these myths may be the very limiting beliefs holding you back from becoming binge free forever. So, I am here to debunk some of the common myths about binge eating. I have 8 of them today. So let's begin. First myth, that binge eating is about food. Your favorite ice cream, snacks, or brownies are not the problem. Certain foods help us deal with certain emotions, but we are not triggered by food. We're triggered by a situation, and binging is the solution to the problem. It is not the problem. Binging is a way of soothing, it's a way of comforting ourselves, numbing, expressing, or symbolically filling a void. Binging is a coping strategy. The problem is we're so good at using food to cope, we often don't even realize we're being triggered. We think it's about food, but the problem is much deeper, and it is often, as I said before, hidden from us. Second myth, all I need is an excellent weight loss plan. Have you heard of the diet binge cycle? Yeah, that's because restricting calories, avoiding particular foods, or skipping meals, it might sound like a reasonable way to lose weight or stop binging. You won't binge if you won't see it, right? But the truth is, the more we restrict, the more we binge. So weight loss diets create deprivation, and the anticipation or experience of deprivation, knowing that you won't be able to have what you want, that only makes you want it more. That's why diets don't work. That's what leads to the diet binge cycle. 3, myth is you just need willpower. So you might blame your lack of control on willpower, but binging is not about willpower or control. If you've been on a lot of diets, you probably have more willpower than you give yourself credit for. But willpower has very little to do with binge eating because the very roots of binging have nothing to do with food. It's about coping. Fourth myth, I can never overcome it. Lots of people believe they're going to have to struggle with food forever. They say they'll be dealing with this for the rest of their lives. Whew, so sad, and absolutely not the case. Remember, binge eating is comparable to a weed and a root. If you dig out a root, that weed is gone for good. So once you get to the root issue of why you're turning to food, the binging problem is gone for good too. So there is hope. Fifth myth, you can never have binge foods in the house. One of my private clients, she couldn't keep Oreos in the house without eating all of them within 3 hours. But after we worked together, one day she realized she completely forgot she had had Oreos in her pantry for months. Binge eating is not about food, but if you classify food as good or bad, you create deprivation. And then again, the experience of deprivation makes you want those forbidden foods even more. On the other hand, when we allow ourselves to eat all foods, we eliminate deprivation and often end up eating less because we deal with why we're eating instead of focusing on what we're eating. Sixth myth, overeating and binging are the same. So look, most of us occasionally overeat, especially during the holidays when excessive eating is part of the celebration. Like in the United States, Thanksgiving, hey, overeating is encouraged. Overeating is just about food, and it just means you ate too much. Binge eating involves eating a large quantity of food in a short amount of time, often to the point of physical pain, and it involves remorse, guilt, and shame about the behavior. Binging makes you feel terrible about yourself. That's different from overeating. Seventh myth, people who binge are overweight. Well, some people are, but some people aren't. People who binge are all shapes, sizes, ages, you know, genders. Binging is about feelings. So some people who binge are overweight, others are not. You can't tell whether someone is struggling by what they look like. Number 8 myth, that binge eating is a gal's problem. It seems like it's common among women, but the reality is a lot of men struggle too. Binge eating can happen to teens, men, women, non-binary people, people of all ages. Binge eating is not about food, willpower, or diet. It is a coping mechanism that helps and hurts you. So which one of these myths surprised you? Which one of these do you still believe? Let me know in the comments.